Hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It really means the world to us when you support the program, support our local area business partners. We've got one of our best coming up here in just a moment, Duane Bishoff, CPA, right here in Tampa Bay. And we're going to talk about the ERC update in employee retention credit, tax return extensions coming up, as well as organizing a small business here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Before we do, I want to plug a couple of our hot listings here. 861 Mandalay Avenue. We got $1 million listing on the beach. Have you ever wanted that second home or an investment property? Beautiful home here at 861 Mandalay Avenue. Clearwater Beach. It's on the north side of the beach, which is preferred. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, open kitchen, sleek quartz countertops. You have a really unique open floor plan here. And in the backyard, you've got a really cool area with a bar and a TV and a kitchen set up out there. Pavers throughout the home. Nearly 900 square foot screened-in covered patio. And the best part is you are 200 steps from the sugar sand beaches in dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Clearwater Beach, Gulf of Mexico there as well. Commercial property here as well at 7202 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. Now, this one is a great opportunity because what you have is two buildings in one here. You have an office building that's currently being used as a barber shop, could easily be utilized as a real estate, mortgage, title, insurance, CPA office, or you also have a muffler next door. You have a mechanic shop, muffler, auto repair shop there as well. 7202 US Highway 301 South in Riverview, corner lot location. Thousands of vehicles a day passing by, and great opportunity. You got built-in passive income as well with the auto shop having a lease in place as well. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastaleelite.com. Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. And I want to remind you, we have a relationship with Patriot Mobile. Anybody out there looking to switch mobile carriers, move away from Woke Mobile and go over to Patriot Mobile. Mobilizing freedom, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Make sure you use Consumer QB as your code. Use promo code Consumer QB for activation. PatriotMobile.com/Consumer QB. All right, Duane Bischoff, welcome back, bud.
Hey, great. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, man. So tell us a little bit more, because this employee retention credit, there's, good program from the government, and I like it when the government spends a lot of money, but this is one that seems to be a good one.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of clients meeting us, getting monies back. It takes a little bit of work to get it done. There's qualifications that you have to do. And we're a little bit different here in Florida than some of those, blue states where they were closed down a long time. A lot more of those people qualify because they were closed down.
Right.
That's one of the ways, other than the math equation, to qualify. Basically, you have to have a reduction in revenue from 19 compared to 20 and 21 to qualify. And the amounts are really high for 20 to 21 especially. It's an easier to qualification, and it's up to $7,000 per employee per quarter.
Per quarter,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so it's for 3 quarters. It's $21,000 an employee.
Wow.
So it's substantial. So what happened is there's just fraud all over this thing.
I bet.
Because you're just amending 941. You're filing 941Cs, amended returns, and you just send it in, and they send you money back. So
wow,
it's pretty easy. But what's happened is the IRS has finally gotten on board that there's a lot of fraud going on.
Right.
And so they've halted processing returns.
Wow.
So I probably have 10 or 12 clients with returns in that are in some kind of state of processing. And they're probably not going to resume that until 24.
Yeah.
But they have to do it because it's law.
Wow.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they came out and said, look, you need to prove that you qualify. Send a letter, send us back information showing that you qualify. I mean, for all ours, it's fine. We can send them that information.
Right.
And anyhow, so I think they're trying to weed out. They're finally, 2 years into this thing, they're trying to weed out the fraudsters.
Wow.
And there's even some of these shops that were doing this all of a sudden have kind of disappeared.
Okay.
Right.
So
that just gives you a clue.
Yeah, it kind of, it reminds me of too, Duane. It reminds me of back in the day where you had the, when we had the mortgage meltdown back in 08, 09, you had all these fraudsters, all these let's call them unscrupulous business practices, businesses that would pop up and they say, oh, we'll help you do a loan modification.
Right.
Remember those guys? And then they would, the attorney would charge X amount. It's like, dude, you could have just been paying your mortgage payment, but you're sending $5,000 or $10,000 to this attorney.
Right.
And then the attorney would just basically file paperwork pushing the foreclosure, the list pendants off.
Right.
Yeah, doing these loan mods. So that was a kind of a gray area in the law back then too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so the other thing is some of them I learned. I got introduced to a company a firm that does these ERCs. So I kind of vetted them. We had a conversation with them on Monday. And I have a client that we couldn't get qualified, but I know there might be another way for them to get qualified. We just don't. We do the easier stuff. We don't do the other ones where we're not sure about. So they explained to me that basically if you had a change in, let's say someone was selling cars, just to make this easy. If someone's selling cars and all of a sudden because when COVID, no one's driving, so no one's buying cars.
Yeah.
And then they switch to buying, selling ventilators, let's say.
There you go.
Because everybody wanted ventilators.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had these sales, even though their gross sales are up, their car sales were down, so they may qualify.
Oh, got it.
Where we're looking at them, we're just looking at gross sales, and because it's the easier way to do it. So if there's anybody, I would say if there's anybody out there who was told they were denied, get in contact with us. We can certainly run you by these people, and they're definitely. They said they have lots of no's, they don't do the bogus stuff, and they're definitely a legit company.
Yeah,
so
get a second look. I mean,
look. It doesn't cost anything to do a second look.
Right, get a second look. That's something we talk about a lot. Just even with your tax returns.
Correct.
Sometimes you have a CPA, or you go to one of these strip malls where they have these little shops set up, and they don't know. They don't have as much expertise as Duane does. Duane, how long you been a CPA? You've been in business for quite
Over
a while.
30 years.
30 years. So there you go. And so you get that second look. Reach out. We'd love to put you in touch with Duane Bishoff, CPA here in Tampa Bay. ConsumerQB.com. You can submit an email there as well. ConsumerQB.com. You can see his show card, all his information, previous videos, by the way, on YouTube. Or you could reach out to the hotline, 727-263-3707. Just call or text 727-263-3707, and we'll put you in touch with Duane Bischoff. So ERC update.
Yep.
On the other note, where are we at with these 81,000 IRS agents, so-called new hires? Have they paused that? I can't remember if they pulled the money behind that or not.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I think they're not hiring that. They are bringing some on, but not that. It was interesting. I got a call from a client this morning who was on a cruise.
Yeah,
and he got friendly with some people. And the person was an IRS, someone deep in the IRS.
Oh, wow.
And so he was saying, all that their numbers are really down. Like they said they're 10% down. I said, no, they're a lot more than 10% down.
The IRS?
The IRS is down employees. They're really down.
So they're behind,
They're
right?
behind. It's just a mess. Everything there is just a disaster, And because this guy has an issue, two issues we've been trying to clear up and couldn't. And the guy says, look, get your accountant to get you the information I'll get it to me, and I'll make sure it gets
that's nice.
through the system.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Connections on a cruise. There you go.
Yeah.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Tax return extensions. Is it that time of the year, or is that coming up?
It is. So most business tax returns were due March 15th. Individual returns at C Corps were due April 15th. If you hadn't filed by then, you can file an extension. If you use a professional, they probably file an extension. So those extensions, the S Corps were due and partnerships were due September 15th. And your individual return and C Corps are due October 15th.
Yeah.
What happened is we had the hurricane come through. So we're qualified disaster area. So that extends all these returns. If you live in most of these counties, so it's not the southeast of Florida. It's mostly the west coast and up and
Panhandle.
over Panhandle and over, over the kind of the track of where the storm
Cedar
was
Key.
close to.
Yep.
Yeah, all the way up.
Yep.
And so there's a list on the IRS what counties. A lot of counties involved. All those returns have all been extended until February 15th.
Got it.
But it doesn't extend your time to pay. You were supposed to pay your tax back in April.
Right.
So if you're on extension and you're freaking out, and you're good.
Are you
on
accumulating interest in those situations? Yeah,
correct. If you owe,
yeah. If you owe, you're accumulating interest. Yep. But then again, get that review. Let Duane take a look. A lot of times, can you give us an example or a recent success story where maybe you've taken a look at somebody's previous returns and you said, hey, good news, the previous tax preparer didn't look at this particular thing, or can you give us maybe an example?
Yeah, I'll give you one. Just last year, we had a lady. This man, very successful, passed away. Had a bunch of rental properties. The daughter's a CPA, but she doesn't work in tax. Yep. She's trying to do their tax return, and she says, "Yeah, we owe this. We owe $150,000."
Wow!
And I'm like, something just doesn't have some conversation. Something just doesn't sound right. Let me look at the return.
Yeah.
And by the time we got done with it, they didn't know anything.
Wow. Okay. So $150,000 swing. Wow.
Yeah.
What's the top line number on that business, by the way? I'm just curious.
They have a bunch of rental properties in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they were a couple $100,000, several $100,000.
Yeah.
But what happened is they had lost carryovers, and she didn't know anything about lost carryovers.
Oh, wow. So just one little thing,
Just one little thing,
Wow. $150,000 almost mistake. Luckily, you caught that.
Yeah.
And that's Duane Bishoff, CPA, here in studio with me. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And that's why we set this show up, I think, because a lot of times as consumers, it's the old thing, right? It's you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And in this situation, that's why we, it's Intelligent Talk Radio here, 860 The Answer, 1025 The Bone on the weekends. And of course, check out our YouTube channel, over 2,000 videos there of great content just like this, where we can help you in a lot of different ways. Attorneys, CPA, financial advice, home service providers that we know, like, and trust, and we vet that do a great job here in Tampa Bay. So tax return extensions. Did we cover all of those?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, organizing a small business is coming up. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and come up with some ideas on organizing a small business and ways that you can utilize the tax code effectively and efficiently, because that's what a lot of the big ballers do, right? That's what a lot of the guys do, and they're taking advantage of the system that's in place. So, what do they say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So let's play the game. Let's work the gray areas in a sense, maybe. I don't know. Yep. We'll talk more with Duane Bishoff here coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at CQB Show on Instagram, at BrandonRhymes1, as well as YouTube.com, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Please subscribe. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes in studio with Duane Bishoff, CPA, one of our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace, online at ConsumerQB.com. Hey, quick shout out to our friends at Discovery Golf Cars, a longtime friend of the program. They hooked me up years ago with this beautiful Keller Williams red golf cart, and they've got new and used golf carts available at Discovery Golf Cars, and you can check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, many different makes and models. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. discoverygolfcars.com. A couple of hot listings here from the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. Commercial listing at 5146 Marine Parkway in Newport Richey. This one's 1,000 feet from US 19 with thousands of vehicles a day, 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day passing by. You have an exceptional storefront space. This is currently operating as a pool and spa supply company with ample parking, large windows that invite natural lighting, open and versatile floor plan tailored to suit your needs. Owner occupies the space right now currently, but it could be, again, converted to any different types of business, many different types of businesses. Public transportation hubs are close by. You have new condos that are being built right across the street as well, and 1,000 feet from US 19. 5146 Marine Parkway, one of our commercial properties from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty and Livian Coastal Elite. We also have another home here at 11722 County Road 672. This one is kind of a unique property. It could be seen as commercial, and you might say, well, this is residential. You got a single-family home on it. Well, it's 19.73 acres, almost 20 acres of land, and you have a 40-foot expansive warehouse. You have palm trees and citrus trees as well. So it's a business operating, fully equipped farm that encompasses 19.73 acres, 11722 County Road 672 in Riverview, one of our hot real estate properties from the Platinum MVP team. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinumcoastalelite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Duane. So, a lot of the good stuff happens between the break, in a sense. And you telling me about one of your clients that they thought they were going to go for this credit dealing with electric vehicles and didn't go well.
Right. Yeah, so he calls me the other day. We're talking about a new business he's operating in, and he says, oh, by the way, I bought this Hummer EV. And I go, oh, there's tax credits for that. I think there's tax credits for those. I think it's like $7,500. Let me just double check. And so he goes, yeah, that's what they said. So when I researched it, he's not going to qualify. So he paid like $130,000 for this EV.
Wow.
And so if you buy an EV and it's an electric vehicle, and its cost, the MSRP is more than $80,000. So if that's a van, a truck, or a SUV, then it doesn't qualify.
Wow.
And I believe the vehicle, if you buy a vehicle, it's $55,000. If it's more than that, then it doesn't qualify. But then if it does qualify, there's income limitations.
Wow.
So if you earn, I don't remember what the top is, but you earn over so much money, you don't get it either.
Certain thresholds.
Right. So if you're buying an EV and you think you're getting a $7,500 credit, do some research before you sign on a dotted line.
Yeah, awesome. I want to get some small business tips from you as well. Before we do, I want to talk about this healthcare worker strike. Some are saying it's the largest healthcare worker strike in the history of the United States.
75,000 Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers across numerous states walked off the job yesterday in what unions are calling the largest healthcare worker strike in U.S. history.
Here to discuss is Daily Wire reporter Amanda Prestigiacomo. So, Amanda, first, tell us about the scope of this strike. Where is it happening and who is it going to affect?
Well, Kaiser Permanente, one of the nation's largest nonprofit health providers, is based in California. And that's where most of these union employees are on strike, an estimated 68,000 of that total 75,000 workers. Healthcare workers are also on strike in Oregon, Washington State, Colorado, Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. In Virginia and D.C., there are only about 400 pharmacists and optometrists on strike, and that is planned to last one day. But in California and those other states, the strike is set to last for 3 days until Saturday morning. And this would include nursing assistants, phlebotomists, radiology, x-ray, and surgical techs, EMTs, home health aides, and other support staff. Nationwide, Kaiser services 13 million patients.
13 million patients nationwide, and it's pretty big deal, I guess. The clip goes on to talk about how inflation right now is around 9%. Some would call it 10 or 12%, but they're only offering like a 4% wage increase. So it's a complicated story, because on one hand you feel for the workers, and on the other hand you're like, well, the employers have strains as well, but when you see the auto workers striking, now you've got this strike. It's like the economy's not going as well as some of the mainstream, and even government bodies try to paint it. We're in a much worse situation, I think, than others. And also, Lawrence Young, chief economist from the Realty Association, says that the economy is weakening. Businesses are slowing. The leasing activity in retail, industrial, warehouse spaces. The office usage is being formally cut back with negative net absorption. Informal, underutilized office spaces remain high. And so the economy's not in great shape.
Yeah. No, that's true. Part of all this, I think, is all with the minimum wage going up so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
It's that rolling effect that if you raise those people, you got to raise everybody who is above them.
Good point.
And now they need to be higher. And then it's just, it's crazy.
And the CEOs too. Sorry to interject, but the CEOs have these huge, in many cases. I mean, what's the percentage? There's some percentages there. It used to be like your common middle income worker. The CEO used to make, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, whatever times, right? Now it's like 1,000 times the median worker some of these CEOs get in a lot of cases.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just know what we're paying. What we were paying before starting wage, it was $40,000. It's $60,000 now.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so I mean, I definitely feel it in my firm.
Right.
And that's the going rate. I mean, if you don't pay that, you don't get people.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. It's definitely been an adjustment. My wife runs a law firm. Same thing with them. Some of those people their rates have all come up.
Yeah, and the point is too. When you look at minimum wage, that's for entry level workers. That's for high school kids or maybe college. You're not. That's not a lifelong wage. So that's where I think they get it wrong on the left.
Living wage. Correct.
Yeah, it's that you're supposed to do that for 6 months and then step up, work hard, you grow.
Right.
But they force the hand, and then my opinion is they don't want small, medium-sized businesses to operate. They want them all to be consolidated into these large corporations, which they can control more out of D.C.
Right, yeah.
So we got about a minute left for you, my friend.
Yeah. So just on that strike thing, the crazy, when you listen to that, those are all the lower-level medical people there, it seemed like. It was the techs and the assistants and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's not, it's going to affect more of the nurses who rely on those people, know, and some of those other professionals, that rely on their help. That's going to, slow down that healthcare. It's already slow.
Right, healthcare's got major issues.
Yeah,
that's true. How do you want people to connect with you, Duane?
So they can email me at dbb@cpaoftampabay.com, or they can call my office at 813-356-0400.
dbb@cpaoftampabay.com.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Also, consumerqb.com, there's your resource as well, and we'll get you in touch with Duane. Some good ideas there, take advantage of. You got that ERC, employee retention credit. Also, your tax returns. If you want to get that second look, reach out. We'd love to put you in touch with Duane and get that second look on your tax returns. And then we have some tips on organizing a small business. Maybe we'll get to that next time. We'll touch on that. But I think the idea is there is start a side hustle, start a side business, and you got write-offs there now. You got opportunities where you're reselling certain things or whatnot, clothing, etc. Duane Bishoff, always great, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good nuggets of advice there. All right, hey, another great show. Insurance update from Jason Mears and, of course, Duane Bishoff. We want you to please go out there, consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.